What if life truly has no grand purpose yet we can't stop searching for one? This video explores why humans, especially in modern America, feel driven to find meaning even when certainty slips away. If you've ever wondered why success, religion, or culture still leave you restless, this journey will challenge your thinking and offer clarity you didn't know you needed. Welcome to Axis of Curiosity, the channel where we ask the questions that shape our lives in ways we rarely stop to notice. Today's video explores a powerful idea: life has no purpose. Why do we keep searching? Together we'll dive into psychology, culture, and spirituality to uncover why humans are wired to seek meaning, even in a seemingly purposeless world. If these questions spark your curiosity, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with others who are searching for deeper understanding. In today's America, many people quietly admit to feeling a sense of emptiness, even when surrounded by opportunities, technology, and freedom. Psychologists like Viktor Frankl argued that the will to meaning is just as central to human survival as food and shelter. Yet modern society often leaves that hunger unsatisfied. The decline of traditional religion, once a source of community and certainty, has created a vacuum that careers, politics, or consumer goods cannot fully fill. People chase productivity or curate perfect images on social media, hoping these will provide a lasting sense of purpose, only to discover that the satisfaction fades quickly. This tension is amplified by cultural expectations. Americans are told that happiness is a right, yet many wonder why fulfillment feels so elusive. The result is a crisis not of material scarcity but of meaning itself. Some see this as liberation, a chance to define life for themselves, while others experience it as disorientation, searching for a story larger than individual ambition. From a biological perspective, the human drive to search for meaning is not accidental but deeply wired into our evolution. Anthropologists point out that early human groups who shared myths, rituals, and collective goals were more likely to survive, because shared meaning created cooperation and trust. Neuroscientists today confirm that the brain rewards pattern recognition and storytelling, giving people comfort in finding order even where none objectively exists. Psychologist William James once observed that humans are believing animals, instinctively framing life within narratives that make sense of suffering and joy. In American culture, this wiring shows up in everything from the belief in progress and the pursuit of the American dream to the way people interpret setbacks as part of a personal growth story. Even when religion fades, the evolutionary impulse remains, driving individuals to find substitutes in ideology, work, or relationships. This biological tendency explains why the search for meaning persists, even when modern thinkers argue that life itself may have no predetermined purpose. For centuries, religion offered Americans not just moral rules but a grand narrative that gave suffering and success a larger context. Christianity, for example, framed life as part of God's plan, where even pain had meaning in the promise of redemption. When traditional faith began to decline, many turned instead to ideologies, political movements, social causes, or national identity that provided a similar sense of belonging and higher purpose. Psychologist Ernest Becker argued that humans cling to such immortality projects because they cannot bear the idea of a meaningless existence. In modern America, some find that story in patriotism, others in activism, and still others in lifestyle philosophies that claim to unlock happiness or authenticity. These narratives differ in form, but share the same function. They lift people beyond the randomness of daily life, making them feel part of something enduring. Yet, as each framework faces criticism or collapse, the question returns: if these stories falter, where else can people turn for a sense of ultimate meaning? The American dream has long promised that hard work and determination will lead to prosperity, security, and fulfillment. Yet for many, it has become more of a burden than a blessing. Success is often measured in material terms: income, property, status, leaving little room for deeper questions about meaning. Sociologists note that Americans are working longer hours than most developed nations, chasing careers that promise purpose but frequently deliver burnout. The paradox is that while work can give structure and pride, it also becomes an identity trap, where self-worth is tied only to achievement. Religion once tempered this drive by framing work as service to God and community, but in its absence, productivity itself is often worshipped. Psychologists warn that this confusion leads to anxiety and depression, as individuals constantly compare their lives to an ideal that may be unattainable. The dream that was meant to inspire has, for many, turned into an exhausting search for purpose through success alone. Consumer culture in America has mastered the art of selling not just products, but promises of identity and fulfillment. Advertisements suggest that buying the right car, phone, or lifestyle brand will complete the self, turning consumption into a ritual of meaning-making. Yet psychologists warn that this cycle produces only temporary satisfaction, what some call the hedonic treadmill, where each purchase soon loses its power and demands another. Social media amplifies this by encouraging people to curate idealized versions of their lives, presenting purpose as something to be displayed and validated through likes and followers. While these platforms can create community, they also foster comparison, envy, and a fragile sense of worth. The irony is that in trying to connect and belong, many feel more isolated and purposeless than before. Instead of offering genuine depth, consumerism and digital culture often distract from the harder, slower work of discovering meaning through relationships, values, and authentic experience. Amid the search for grand narratives, many Americans are rediscovering the quiet power of small anchors every day, practices and connections that offer stability and meaning. Without grand promises, sociologists note that strong community ties, whether through neighborhood groups, volunteer work, or even local sports teams, create a sense of belonging that wealth and status cannot replace. Rituals, too, play an essential role. Family meals, weekly gatherings, or personal routines like journaling and meditation ground people in rhythms that affirm life's value. Psychologists suggest that these micro-purposes, caring for children, nurturing friendships, or tending to a garden, offer sustainable sources of meaning because they are tangible and relational. In a culture that often glorifies individual achievement, these smaller anchors remind people that purpose does not always have to be cosmic or revolutionary. Instead, it can be found in showing up for others, cultivating consistency, and creating moments of connection that make life feel coherent and worthwhile. When life offers no universal script, we are left with the empowering yet daunting freedom to create meaning for ourselves. Psychologists suggest that instead of chasing a single grand purpose, we thrive when we cultivate values, relationships, and practices that reflect who we truly are. For some, this may be raising a family or building deep friendships. For others, it could be art, service, or the pursuit of knowledge. The beauty of this freedom is that it allows us to shape a narrative that fits our unique experiences, rather than conforming to someone else's definition of purpose. Modern thinkers remind us that meaning is less about discovering something hidden and more about weaving together the choices, commitments, and stories that give our lives coherence. By embracing this creative responsibility, we move from the anxiety of what is my purpose to the wisdom of how can I live meaningfully today. Thank you for watching. If this reflection spoke to you, please like the video, share it, and subscribe to Axis of Curiosity for more thoughtful explorations.